Very good evening and welcome to the Monday, the 27th of January edition of Vogan's European Outlook. Hope you're all well and safe wherever you are. Certainly, it was a wild end to the week just gone, and we remain fairly unsettled as we begin a new working week, albeit a little bit less extreme compared to last week. But nonetheless, thundery downpours has been the case across parts of England as well as Wales during the course of particularly the first half of the day, all associated with a deep area of low pressure centred near Ireland. But we've also got some snow to speak about across parts of the southern uplands and the Highland region. Elsewhere, we've not really got much to speak about in terms of snow. But it was an interesting weekend just gone, covering the Storm Éowyn. Also, we had the live stream yesterday afternoon as usual on the Sunday, and this upcoming week it is busy as always. Also, this upcoming Sunday's live stream will be discussing the final month of meteorological winter. February outlook will be in the form of the live stream this upcoming weekend, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. And also the global weather report, instead of it being in the live, it will be an uploaded video, probably Wednesday or Thursday of this week. So a little adjustment to the scheduling here in the channel, but nevertheless, 7 days a week, unhyped, accurate, and unbiased weather here on the channel. I will get there in the end. But yeah, it's certainly an interesting weather regime at the moment, with low pressure remaining dominant. Looks as if higher pressure is going to try and build in as we progress through the middle and second half of this week. But nevertheless, we have got a little bit of snow to speak about. But you can see here off the ECMWF 850s, looking back at the current period. So underneath the centre of the low, we've actually got slightly milder conditions within the 850 level. But we've got chilly enough air that is presenting some snow above 200 metres or so in elevation across southern and central Scotland, as can be seen in various images that we're seeing on social media. But this system is moving off to the east. We're in that chillier air. We've got another area of low pressure that is diving south into Spain and France. But obviously named, or the Spanish Met Service has named the system that is currently dominating the pattern Storm Hermina. Greatest impacts across the continent. We're seeing roofs getting blown off in some parts of Spain over the last 24 hours. So severe gales and damaging winds anywhere from parts of northern Iberia and along the French coast. Also, we've seen 60, 70 mile per hour winds battering the south coast of England into the Bristol Channel, up through the Irish Sea, the gap between Wales and the Republic of Ireland as well. Some pretty gusty winds. Coastal conditions not great really across many areas of the UK, but a real mixture of weather to speak about. If we look at the overview chart here of the ECM model, you've got quite a mixed regime here. So we've got Hermina starting to fill, now pressure at 987 millibars as of Wednesday at 9 o'clock UTC. We've got another area of low pressure that may well get named by the Spanish or the French as this system then moves in, bringing further outbreaks of rain, sleet, snow, hail, thunderstorms embedded probably. We're also talking about some very strong gusty winds, especially in the southern flank of the low. All the while, we've got the chilly air and a slacker wind regime across the UK and Ireland. With chilly air in place, that presents the opportunity for some rather chilly nights, Wednesday night and possibly Thursday night, as well as we've got this little small area of low high pressure embedded within a field of low pressure. One system just the north of Shetland, for example, another moving in from the west of the Atlantic, and we've also got an area of low pressure, that residual low filling as it moves into southwestern Europe. But it's that little gap in the weather that will allow clear skies, lighter winds, and frosty conditions probably Thursday into Friday, possibly more so Wednesday and Thursday, in fact. But you can see here as we move into Friday, we've got a little feature moving into northern portions of the UK. That's quite an interesting one because it looks as if we've got some colder associated with that. If we look back at the 850 temperatures here, we've got a low of -5 at 850. Nothing to write home about for the time of the year, but nevertheless, when you've got colder in place, 850s at -5, and a frontal system bringing in some moisture, you have to watch out for the potential for some snow. And you can see here that we've got some snow across parts of Iberia and southern France associated with that system moving in. But we also have, if we look at the ECMWF, let's look at the GFS, in fact, real quick first and see if it's indicating anything moving in towards the end of this week. So the GFS not really indicating anything to speak about. So this is the differences between the models. We'll have to take that into consideration. But if we look at the overview of the ECMWF model, since we were looking at that originally, we can see if we play through, we've got this little band of moisture running through fairly shallow area of low pressure at around 1007 millibars. So not a deep low or by any stretch. Pressure over 1000 millibars for one, but it's this frontal boundary and feature that needs to be watched. If we go to the snow depth chart of this, the same model, you can see here that it is printing out some heavy snowfall, particularly within the mid to high ground of northern UK, possibly southern Scotland into northern England. But I'm not overly enthusiastic about that, to be quite honest with you. It will bring some sort of snow, but it's really not a particularly significant feature by any stretch. I think the chill Wednesday and the Thursday may be interesting, especially with any snow lying on the ground. It could turn fairly cold. We could see -7, -8 Celsius with the correct conditions plus the snow covered ground, causing maximum radiational cooling to take place. But generally speaking, we're in a reasonably mild setup here. Look at the cool weather charts. You can see that we've got a lot of warm records to speak about. We've lost the cold records, if you notice here, across the southern and eastern United States. We've got some exceptional warmth up across northwest Canada and Alaska. Fairbanks in central Alaska, for example, failed to drop below freezing the other night there, and I thought that's pretty remarkable for the dead of winter up there. To fail to drop below the freezing mark in Fairbanks. I think that is only the second time in recorded history that's happened in the month of January. But you can see this cluster of warm records, particularly so over Europe at the moment, especially mainland Europe. And if you look at the current temperatures, we're talking about upper single figures widely, anywhere from Iberia and France all the way across to Eastern Europe. We've got some chill to speak about across Norway, Sweden, and Finland, but nothing to write home about. Really, that is the only place. Granted, even the UK, we're not really particularly cold, so it's interesting to see that. And if we look at the previous 72 hours of the CDAS data, we've got a very mild Europe. We've got slightly below average, if you notice, across the northern UK, Ireland, and Northern Ireland, slightly warmer than average down across more southern areas of the UK thanks to southwesterly winds. So we're holding on to this slightly chilly theme that we experienced through the course of the weekend, especially the further north you go over the UK. And the month as a whole is looking like this. Looks as if this is the coldest January since 2021. So you go back 4 years, not a big deal, but nevertheless a colder than average January. And the grand scheme of things these days is, you take note of that, because it becomes harder and harder, I suppose, to get colder than average months in the era in which we live in. So in terms of the upcoming 7 days of the model, you can see here the ECM weeklies anyway. Let's go back to the temperatures for the next 7 days, and it's looking like this here. So we've actually got slightly below average conditions remaining across northern UK, much of the UK, and near average actually, southern and eastern England, far southwest. The ECMWF extended indicates slightly warmer than average, but the UK holding on to this slightly chilly theme Sunday the 26th of January through Sunday the 2nd of February. But then I think we are going to start to moderate things, given the fact that we're going to start to build pressure over the south and east of the UK, and lower pressure to the north and northwest. And therefore, you would expect to see something a little bit milder with more a predominant southwesterly airflow. If we look at the 850s here, upper heights, go back to the upcoming 7-day period, it's looking like this here. So we've still got low pressure dominating. But then as we step out of January into the month of February, you've got higher pressure building in across pretty much all of the UK, Ireland, Europe as a whole, and then your low heights are well up to the northwest if we take a broader view of this, you can see that we've got a deep negative over the North Atlantic and Greenland here, ridging over the UK and Ireland here in Europe. So generally speaking, that is a very positive AO NAO look. If we look at that AO NAO look, and you can see here that we've got generally very positive at the moment within the Arctic. So a lot of low heights up into the Arctic region, positive heights within the middle latitude pattern, and looking at the NAO as well, we can see that we are generally in a positive trend as we move into the month of February. We will look in a little bit more detail in the coming days with regards to the month of February. There is a lot of uncertainty with regards to February. We're keeping an eye on the MJ. We're also keeping an eye on the polar vortex and its behavior. We're seeing some warming showing up across the Eurasia side of the pole towards the end of week 1, beginning of week 2 of February. So lots of reason to stick around here in the channel if you're interested in understanding the bigger picture of how our weather is evolving. I would encourage you to stick around anyway. Looking at the 850 temperatures here real quick, this is the anomalies of the ECMWF. So we've got this slightly warmer air at 850 at the moment. See very mild air, Central and Eastern Europe into Northern Europe. And then as we move towards the middle portions of this week, as a slack area of high pressure builds in over the UK and Ireland, we've got colder than average at 850. So I would expect to see some fairly cold temperatures Wednesday into Thursday, possibly Thursday into Friday. Then we're in milder conditions according to the model as well, and we continue to play through. You've got this setup at the moment. We've got cold air coming off North America, but with a deep area of low pressure at 950 millibars or thereabouts over Iceland. We've got an area of high pressure over the continent. You've got a southwesterly airflow. It's warmer than average as a whole. Wanted to show you a couple of things before I go. A couple of sad notes actually. Well, one in particular was that it looks as if the Edinburgh Royal Botanic Gardens, a 166-year-old tree, I believe it was the tallest within the gardens, it succumbed to the winds of Storm Aylwin. So quite a sad piece of information coming out of Edinburgh's Royal Botanic Gardens due to Storm Aylwin. And then another interesting one, I wanted to show you this here. This was from Weather and Radar UK and Ireland. This chap here recorded a wind gust of 118 miles per hour in County Clare as he faced the rash of the storm in the North Atlantic. So, rather brave and hard to stand how powerful those winds were, especially on the west coast of Ireland, where we've seen a new national record of 114 miles per hour at Macehead, County Galway. And also, I wanted to show you this. This was the Forth Road Bridge connecting Fife with the Edinburgh area, and I've seen this before. But if you look closely at the bridge deck, you can see it flexing back and forth. It's actually movement due to winds close to the 100-mile-per-hour range during Friday. Now, nearby Queensferry Crossing did record a wind gust of 99 miles per hour. This is obviously a very, very exposed area. Winds tend to funnel through this natural gap in the land, and quite often these bridges feel the full wrath of storms. It's actually westerly winds, but they blow through the Clyde Forth Valley and accelerate as they blow through that channel, and you can clearly see the upward movement of the Forth Road Bridge. It is designed to do that, so that this is what you would expect to see during storms, but nevertheless, it is pretty remarkable. Another interesting clip here by Paul Malgrati at the BBC studios, and he's recording the River Clyde, but you can actually see pieces of the BBC studio roof get peeled off due to the extreme winds of Storm Aylwin. Likely Glasgow's strongest storm since 2012, and obviously it was Northern Ireland's strongest since the Boxing Day storm of December 1998, and probably one of Ireland's strongest storms on record. So I wanted to end today's video by showing you that. I don't think there's anything else really to speak about at the moment. Join me tomorrow for the next European outlook, and enjoy the rest of your Monday. Bye bye.